Every life has a moment when everything changes. Not because something outside of you shifts, but because something inside you does. A switch, invisible, psychological, hidden in the deepest part of your mind. Most people never find it. Most people live their entire lives on default mode, reacting instead of choosing, surviving instead of expanding, existing instead of becoming. But a few, the ones who break cycles, the ones who rise from nothing, the ones who transform themselves. Shaktiktor nuts, they find the switch. And when they flip it, their entire life takes a new direction. Today, on Mindscripted, you're going to discover that switch. Discipline isn't built by pushing through things you enjoy, even if they're hard. A long run that energizes you or a challenging project that excites you doesn't train your willpower. Your brain isn't resisting, so the AMCC stays quiet. What activates this part of your brain are the moments of hesitation, the tasks you delay, the ones you silently dread. Huberman calls them micro-sucks. They're small, uncomfortable decisions you resist daily. Putting away the laundry, answering that email you've been avoiding, making a difficult phone call. They don't seem important, but every time you choose to do one voluntarily, your AMCC fires up. You're not just getting something done, you're lifting a weight for your brain. That's how you build real discipline. Studies suggest the AMCC is also tied to your resilience, your cognitive sharpness, even your will to live. People with larger AMCCs recover faster from stress, stay mentally sharp into old age, and adapt more easily to change. Superagers, those who stay mentally fit well into their 80s and 90s, tend to have strong, active AMCCs. On the flip side, when the AMCC weakens, so does your ability to cope, persist, and grow. Most age-related brain decline starts here. Your mind was not designed for success, it was designed for survival, and survival mode has one job. Keep everything the same. Same habits, same fears, same doubts, same identity. Your brain doesn't care about your goals, it cares about your comfort. So the moment you try to change, it pulls you back. Not because you're weak, not because you're unmotivated, but because your mind is protecting the old version of you like it's protecting your life. This is why change feels impossible. You're fighting a system built to resist you. Huberman, for example, likes running but hates the final 20 meters uphill to his house. His brain argues every time, but when he chooses to run those last few meters anyway, he knows something critical is happening, not in his legs, but in his mind. That tension, that internal debate, is his AMCC switching on. You have those moments too. It might be a tough conversation you've been avoiding, or an overwhelming email inbox. Those aren't just productivity problems, they're neural growth opportunities. These bigger challenges, what Huberman calls macro-sucks, are where your brain grows stronger, faster. The dread you feel beforehand. That's your AMCC getting ready to level up. Here's the truth. Discipline isn't a mood. It's not a burst of motivation or some rare trait you either have or don't. Here is the truth most people never hear. Your life doesn't change when you change your habits. Your life changes when you change the person who performs them. The hidden switch is identity. Not what do I want, but who am I becoming? The moment your brain believes you are someone new, your choices transform on their own. This is the psychological switch that separates temporary effort from permanent transformation. There is a version of you that tries to wake up early, tries to stay consistent, tries to stay disciplined, tries to stop procrastinating, tries to break old habits, and then, there is a version of you that does not need to try, because it's just who they are. The person who tries, fights their mind every day. The person who becomes, moves with alignment. This is the switch. Not more force, not more motivation, not more discipline. Identity alignment. Becoming the person who lives the life you want, without feeling like an imposter in it. So start small. Pick a task you've been dodging. Do it, not because it's urgent or important, but because it's uncomfortable. Push slightly past the moment you'd normally stop. That's the sweet spot where change happens. Every time you lean into discomfort, your brain adapts. Over time, the tasks that once felt impossible become routine. Your follow-through strengthens. Your mental endurance grows. Your mind has two layers, 1. The conscious layer, the goals, the dreams, the intentions. 2. The subconscious layer, the identity, the beliefs, the self-image. These two layers rarely match. You consciously want success, but subconsciously you still feel like the old you. You consciously want consistency, but subconsciously you still see yourself as someone who quits. You consciously want discipline, but subconsciously you identify as someone who struggles. And when there is conflict, identity always wins. This is why change fails. Not because you lack ability, but because your identity hasn't caught up with your desire. At first, he was able to function normally, attending classes and maintaining connections with friends. But soon the drug became all important. Greg dropped out of school and took on a series of menial jobs in retail and fast food joints. He rarely held a position for more than a month or two, generally getting fired for missing too much work or for arguing with customers and coworkers. His behavior became increasingly erratic, sometimes violent, and he was arrested repeatedly for stealing to support his habit. Multiple efforts at treatment failed, and by the time the court sent Greg, then 33 years old, to a psychiatric hospital for evaluation, he was destitute and homeless, disowned by his family, and a prisoner of his addiction. What made Greg so susceptible to the siren song of cocaine, to the point that the drug essentially destroyed his life? And how did his identical twin, who shares the exact same genes, escape a similar fate? How can exposure to a drug set up some individuals for a lifelong addiction, while others can move past their youthful indiscretions and go on to lead productive lives? These questions are not new, but neuroscientists are beginning to take a fresh approach to finding the answers, borrowing from discoveries first made in other fields. Over the past 10 years, biologists studying embryonic development and cancer have uncovered an extensive array of molecular mechanisms that allow the environment to alter how genes behave without changing the information they contain. Instead of mutating genes, these epigenetic modifications mark them in ways that can alter how active they are, in some cases for a lifetime. Here's the psychological method to activate the new identity. 1. Choose the character, not the goal. Don't say, "I want to get fit." Say, "I am becoming a disciplined person." Don't say, "I need to be productive." Say, "I am becoming someone who follows through." The mind follows identity, not intentions. 2. Act small, but act daily. Identity is built through repetition, not massive action, not motivation spikes. Small behaviors, done daily, become proof, and proof rewires the mind. 3. Upgrade your self-talk. Your inner voice is the architect of identity. Stop saying, "I've always been like this. I'm not that type of person. I can't stay consistent." Say instead, "This is the old me speaking. A new version is forming." Language is identity software. 4. Rewrite the I am narrative. Every time you say "I am," you flip a switch. Be intentional with it. I am disciplined. I am focused. I am building myself. I am changing my life. Your mind eventually obeys the identity you declare. The greatest transformations in life don't happen gradually. They happen suddenly, the moment your identity shifts. Not when you feel ready, not when things are perfect, not when motivation appears, but when you say, "I am done being the old me." There is power in that moment. A psychological reset, a shift in direction, a silent decision that echoes into every part of your future. This is the hidden switch, the one that changes your actions, your habits, your behavior, your confidence, your discipline, and your entire life trajectory. You are not stuck. You are not broken. You are not destined to repeat the same patterns. You are one identity shift away from a completely different life. The switch is inside you, it always has been. And the moment you flip it, everything changes. Welcome to the new you. Welcome to Mind Scripted.